Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning for the using different charting platforms with binary options. Now, my name is Gil Mercer, and I will be your hostess for the day. And before we get started, I would like everyone to take just a few moments to read over the Nadex risk disclaimer. And basically, any type of trading that you do involves risk, and this also applies to binary options and spreads. So just take a moment to read over the disclaimer, and then we'll get started on trading platforms. Now, for those of you that do not know me, my name again is Gil Mercer, and I have over 15 years of trading experience. I started out with a company that programmed indicators for trading platforms, and I just fell in love with the price bar. It was that simple. I specialize in price action, volume analysis, divergence, because I simply believe they are leading indicators. I'm also a frequent contributor to Stocks and Commodities magazine, Traders World online magazine, and Top Shelf. I've also been a speaker at Traders Expo, Traders World Online Expo, and the Wyckoff Volume Conference. I'm also the author of Trading Nadex Binary Options, Keeping It Simple Strategies, and the New Trader's Guide to Trading Nadex Binary Options and Spreads. Both of those books can be purchased on Amazon or my website. The agenda for today is identifying different trading platforms that you can use to trade binary options, why you would use different platforms, and the difference between the Nadex charting and other trading platforms. Now, before we get started, I do want to give everyone my website, which is tradershelpdesk.com. And if you have any questions after the presentation today, you can email me at gm@tradershelpdesk.com. Now, let's go ahead and get started on the different trading platforms. And can everyone see my screen right now? I have 3 trading platforms open. And just type a yes into the window. Thank you, Sean. Okay, on the left, I have multi-charts. In the middle is Nadex, and over on the right-hand side is NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader and multi-charts are both trading platforms. And if you are trading futures or forex directly, you could actually trade from either multi-charts or from NinjaTrader. They do not, you cannot trade a binary option through NinjaTrader or through multi-charts. So what you would have to do is pretty similar to what I have right now. I have a chart open in the trading platform, and then I also have a chart open in Nadex. So this way I can watch the underlying and still place a trade on Nadex. And that brings us to a very important topic. What is the underlying? Okay. In Nadex, you're trading the binary option. So I'm going to expand this window a moment if I can. Okay. And what we are trading, and I'm going to use the Dow as an example. If you're looking at the futures, you're looking at a symbol in NinjaTrader. It is YM09-17. This identifies it as the E-mini Dow, and the contract expiration is 0917. Okay, and I'm just going to highlight that for y'all for a moment. So right here you have your symbol. Okay, now over here, do you see how it says Wall Street 30? Okay, and it is the September contract. Now, this is not the same as the E-mini Dow, okay, because this is a binary that uses the underlying as a chart. Do y'all understand that? Or as an instrument? Does everybody understand that? Now, what are some of the differences? Look at your price over here. Look at your price over here. Does anybody notice a difference? This has decimal points. This does not. Do you see that? Now, that alone will tell you these are not exactly the same. The binary option contract is based on the underlying E-mini Dow, okay? But they do not move exactly the same. This moves in points, but you still have that decimal point in there. Do y'all see that? This, you will never have a decimal point on, okay? Now, the other thing is let me take all of my drawings off the chart. I love to draw. Okay, if let's say you're trading, and this is, well, we could do it with the Dow too. Let's just do it for the Dow. I don't want to confuse you yet. All right, I'm a big follower of volume, okay? So in this case, I'm going to add the volume indicator to the binary options, okay? And they used to have one on here. Maybe not anymore. Okay, they do not have the volume indicator on here, okay? And that's a good thing because it's only measuring the binary options. If I have over here, let's see, let's just add the directional volume over here and say okay. All right, now you see over here I've got volume, and that's just measuring the total buyers and sellers per bar, okay? Does everybody understand that? Now over here on Nadex, you're not going to get that type of information. They did at one time have volume on here, but here's the difference. This is measuring the volume of the binary option contract if it was on there. This is actually measuring the volume of the underlying. Does everybody understand that? So if I wanted to trade, I would trade the volume of the underlying, not the volume of a binary contract. Noticed a difference in price being quoted by a few ticks, which is most accurate, Nadex or Ninja. On the binary options, Edwin, if you're trading the binary options, you need to be trading, you know, according to the price that you see right here, because that's what is going to pay out at expiration. But I'm going to base my trade over here on NinjaTrader, okay? But that comes to another important aspect of it. I run basically 3 different platforms sometimes: Multi-Charts, TradeStation, and NinjaTrader. And all 3 of them can actually have a different value, okay? Because it comes down into precision of time. And, you know, for example, everybody has a clock on their computer, right? All right, if you're 10 seconds off, then your price is also going to be 10 seconds off. And this is what a lot of new traders don't realize. If your computer clock is 10 seconds off, it will close the bar 10 seconds late. And that's going to give you a different close price than what maybe somebody over in California has that is exactly precise, and their computer clock is set to precision. Does everybody understand that? And that answers your question as well, Tony. Is there any time difference between the two charts? Yes, and I can even, do that within NinjaTrader. For example, okay, this is, and let's see what this is based on. If I go to data series, it says use instrument settings, okay? So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to choose the FX futures ETH, okay? And I'm going to apply that. Now, you're not going to see a lot of difference in those bars, correct? But let's do another chart, and I'll set it over here. We'll do the Dow, okay? We'll do a minute chart. We're going to do 3 minutes because that's what this one is, okay? But instead of using that particular one, I'm going to use another one. And let me find one. Let's go to U.S. equities, okay? Now, this one may have different bars than this one over here. Do you see how this bar is different from this bar over here? It's both 3 minutes, but you can see there is a difference, and I'll shrink it back up. There is a difference between this chart and this chart over here. Do y'all see that? The reason is not necessarily in Nadex, but in other platforms, you can actually change the ending time, okay? So in this case, let's look at the Dow, and we're going to edit the Dow, okay? And we can come in here and we can set this to use a different setting, okay? For example, I could tell it to use the U.S. index futures, and all it is time periods, okay? I could tell it to use 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's going to give you a different setting. The difference is some of them will end at 5 p.m., some will end at 5:15 p.m., and these are New York times. Some of them will end at midnight, okay? When you're setting your charts up and they're ending at different times, then that can also skew the indicators and the results of the indicators, especially if you're using like a daily chart. There's a big difference between ending at 5 p.m. and ending at midnight. And these are things that new traders, they'll go over and they'll switch to NinjaTrader or they'll switch to multi-charts, and they don't realize the magnitude of options and procedures that they need to follow to actually bring up an accurate chart. Does everybody understand that? All right, so I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to bring this one back over here. Now, one of the main reasons that, a lot of traders will use the underlying is because they really want to see what the underlying is doing, because remember, this is based on the underlying. The platform, if you're using a platform like NinjaTrader Al or multi-charts or TradeStation, it's using your computer time, okay? Now, Nadex is web-based, so you don't have to worry about it. It's not using the time on your computer. It's internet-based. It's working off of their servers, okay? Now, the other thing is that if you have read any of the information on the indicative index, price index, This is a continuous calculation, okay? And it's based on what's used at expiration. Now, it's very similar to a continuous moving average, which is based still on the underlying. Do y'all understand that? So it's never going to match up 100% to this, okay? Not all the time, but it is based off of this price right here. Now, do you see how this price is $9.35? Now, watch this price over here. As this price is moving up and down, this one is doing it as well. Could it be 0.1 off? Sure, it could, okay? It's just using the same formula that is used for the calculation for expiration. Do y'all understand that? But it is still coming off of your underlying. All right. Any questions on that? Now, a lot of people have asked me, well, can I trade binary options using NinjaTrader? Sure you can, okay? You know, this is a great example right now. I have the Dow Jones 3-minute chart up, and if I had a bias to the long side, I could come over here and buy one of these strikes, okay? If I had a bias to the downside, I could come over here and I could sell any of these strikes. Does everybody understand that? It's just a matter of having this window open and this window. Okay? Now, let's get into the differences, okay? While NinjaTrader is a free platform, as long as you are not trading a live account through Ninja, you will not get data unless you do a couple of things, and you have choices here. You can either just subscribe to the data, which is, for futures, is very expensive. To get, let's see, and I'll just give you an example. Let's see, for the Dow, the ES, and the NASDAQ, if you're going to pay for the data, it's probably going to be about $180, okay? If you want to add on crude and gold, you're going to pay at least another $91. And then typically they're going to charge you a service fee for providing the data. So basically you're going to be looking at $331 a month. Now that's without forex, that's just futures. Okay? Now you can open up an account with some providers, and there's different, brokers that will do this, and it's like $500, and then you can get the data for about $35 a month. Okay, that's your other option. And then you still typically will pay a fee for them to provide NinjaTrader to you. All right, and then your other option is to go and just say, okay, I'm not ready to trade futures yet, and I want to keep my expenses down. And in that case, you could go just with forex only for about $30 a month. And this is, again, a big reason why I tell you start out with forex, because it's more cost effective for you. You can get a trading platform that you can use to graph and chart the underlyings without paying an arm and a leg. Do y'all understand that? And in this example, for NinjaTrader, I use Kinetic. For multi-charts, I use IQ Feed, okay? And IQ Feed is the one that has it for forex only, is $30 a month. In this way, you know, if you're just starting out, you know, you're better off really limiting your cost so that you can learn. Do y'all understand that? After you learn, then if you want to go to, you know, the most expensive, then that's what you do. Now, what are some advantages, okay, of having NinjaTrader versus just Nadex? Well, a lot of times it really comes down to indicators and what you're using, okay? I've designed my own indicators. They're not in Nadex, so I'm actually going to be in NinjaTrader, or I'm going to be in multi-charts. The one thing nice about multi-charts is that you purchase it outright, okay? And I can't really remember how much it is, but this one, you purchase it outright and then you get free upgrades. That means that you own the software, and then if you want indicators, you just add indicators into it. It does come with a slew of them, and one of the things that I'm really impressed with is they started doing the cumulative delta and the volume profiles, okay? That is a very, very advanced method for charting and studying volume, okay? As a beginner, should you start out with cumulative delta? Probably not, okay? Only because it is very advanced. You know, most of the people that go into cumulative delta or volume profiling, they've been trading 5 to 10 years, okay? So if you're new, you're going to need to build up some experience just in the markets in general before you move over to that. You'll also see that the standard platforms like NinjaTrader and multi-charts, they're going to have a lot of indicators in here, and it's really a lot more than what Nadex would have, okay? A lot of these that are in here are free indicators, okay? So you can put them on here. You have the bar timer, you have the check-in volatility and the oscillator and the money flow. You have CCI, Keltner channels. Anything you would want is pretty much in there as far as the free indicators go. Now, another difference that I know of between Nadex and between something like NinjaTrader is the fact over here on Nadex, you can have 6 charts open. Okay, in NinjaTrader, if you're running NinjaTrader 8, there really is not, as far as I know, a limit that you would surpass. But here's another one that I actually like, and I'm just going to add a couple of things in this, and then I'll show you. And we're going to add the ES. And then I'm going to apply a template that I have. And let's go with that one. And in this case, within one screen, I can tell you right now, the NASDAQ is oversold on the 12-minute, and the ES is oversold on the 12-minute, and they are going down, okay? Now, I'm not even looking at that chart, but I already know the NASDAQ is probably going to move up about 80 ticks, and the ES is going to move up 12 ticks, okay? And that's just from having this window. Now, I can also link this with this one over here. So I can say, oh, I might want to take this one on the ES, okay? And do you see how it changed my chart? Now, that's something that Nadex does not have, okay? So, you know, if I wanted to put gold and crude in there, I could do that one as well. Now, that's a really nice feature. You know, if you're still at, you know, trading one market, you probably wouldn't need that, okay? The more experience you get, the more you may want to look into that. Does everybody understand that? Now, multi-charts also gives you the ability to do that. And I'm just going to open up one of my standard workspaces and show you. And it's populating, so give me just a minute. Now, remember, over here, the maximum you can open up is 6, okay? And then it depends also on the, you know, how many screens you have. I'm running off of 6 screens, okay? So generally, I'm going to have multi-charts on one, NinjaTrader on one or two of them, and then Nadex on another one. So now, with multi-charts, and it's still loading the data on these charts, but I want to bring it over here and show it because I can see there's 3 different charts, but I'm monitoring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different markets. Okay. So right now I know that the Aussie is at a point that may give me an entry. Okay. And that entry is actually on my 60-minute chart. Do y'all understand that? So in this case, I'm monitoring multiple instruments and multiple time frames, and that will enable me to actually say, hey, this is the best market for me to trade right now. Do you see that white dot up here? That's what this is picking up, okay? And that immediately tells me I might have an entry point here, and I have an ATR over here, just about the same area. So that's telling me, hey, I need to watch these 2 charts. I need to watch this chart, this chart, and this chart over here, because I'm probably going to have an entry either this afternoon or early this evening. Now, in Nadex, what I would have to do is, you know, bring up 2 different charts. Well, 3 actually. So on this one, we were looking at the Aussie. So in this case, I would look at the Aussie, and let's just look at the daily 11 p.m. And this is the other thing. You're going to have to choose an expiration, okay? So in this case, this is my 15-minute. And I'm going to open up another one. And this is really, you know, some of the major differences. Okay, and we're going to change this to a 1 hour. And then we're going to open up one more. And we're going to make this a 4 hour. So now I have the equivalent of what I have over here, okay? But here is the difference. In Nadex, let's say that the trade signal comes in, okay? Well, I have to remember that this is an 11 p.m. expiration, okay? Well, what if it comes in at 8 o'clock tonight and I want an expiration of 10? Then I need to remember, okay, now I have to come back over here and do the 10 p.m. expiration. Does everybody follow that? So what I choose to do is say, okay, I'm going to see my trade setup on these charts, and then based on that, I'll go over and choose my expiration. The market analyzer, it's not exactly like a scanner, but it works very similar. We program these specifically for a market analyzer to work like the scanner, okay? And this is the scanner in multi-charts. It works like an Excel spreadsheet, Al. So it keeps up with all the values for us. We can set alerts off of it. You know, in multi-charts, there's no alerts. Not multi-charts, Nadex. In Nadex, I can't set an alert to say, hey, I want to know when the Aussie dollar is at 80.10, okay? But my indicators can actually do it over here. Do you see how now the US CAD is at a congestion dot? You see the congestion dot here, you see the congestion dot here, okay? More than likely, I know that this is going to go back to this ATR, okay? So then all I have to do is say, okay, does this time frame confirm what I'm seeing? No, because this time frame says we're coming down. So I know I'm not taking that trade. Okay, so now I can move on to a new trade. Let's say I want to enter a trade that is close to an ATR. This is telling me ticks to ATR. The USD Swiss franc is 16 ticks away from the ATR on the 60-minute chart. And this is a 60-minute because the resolution is 60 minutes. Does everybody see that? So basically what you're doing is you're upping your game, okay? You're monitoring multiple instruments, multiple time frames for the best potential entry, okay? The other thing that I can do on these is actually create charts with 2 different time frames. And I'm just going to switch over and show you one of my other workspaces. And they'll pop up here, or they should. Let's put that down. Drag this one over here. Okay, so in this one, I've got the 3-minute and the 12-minute. I've got the 45 and the 180. I've got a daily and a weekly. Now, I already see I've got a problem because this is the ES. So I can come up here and say, no, I'm looking at the NASDAQ, so I want to see the NASDAQ. Do you see how simple that was to change that? So you're not having to go through charts and then say, oh, wrong chart because I need this expiration. And I don't have to recreate them for every 2-hour binary because I trade a lot of 2-hour binaries. Can you imagine doing 3 charts for every 2-hour binary and then deciding if there's an entry? This is why I use multiple multiple trading platforms. I don't have to do that. I have my futures on one, my forex on one, and then I have Nadex in my middle screen. And I can even set these to have an alert go to my cell phone, you know, hey, you need to go look at your chart because there's an entry coming up. Do y'all understand that? Do you have any questions? In my opinion, you know, Nadex is a great starting charting platform, but once you can conquer that platform, you got to up your game if you really want to trade binary options. And there are a lot of trading platforms. You know, I work with 3, NinjaTrader, MultiCharts, and TradeStation. TradeStation by far is the most expensive one. So you don't hear me talk about that one a lot. I don't think it's a good choice for new traders simply because it's expensive. Do y'all have any questions this morning on the different platforms? What's an advantage over one versus the other? Thinkorswim, I use Thinkorswim for my stock options. And Thinkorswim is good. I don't think it has a scanner like MultiCharts does. And there's limited additional indicators for Thinkorswim too. I prefer not to use their platform, especially for forex, Paul. I really would prefer, you know, what's the benefit? Okay, if I could get NinjaTrader for forex and pay $30 a month, IQ Feed is the best data in the market for forex. I'm going to use IQ Feed. And I mean, literally, it's $30 a month. Okay. Now, can you do everything with NinjaTrader that I could do with MultiCharts? No. You wouldn't have the scanner, but the market analyzer, the way that we have created it, would work for you. And another thing is, what are your goals? You know, this would be the first thing that I'm looking at. Okay. What are my goals? Okay. If I'm just going to be trading, and I have a client that only trades the ES, okay? Well, he might be very happy just sticking with Nadex. He's trading one instrument, okay? Whereas, you know, my goal is to actually trade whatever is moving at the time, okay? That's my goal. I'm a trader. This is what I do. Day in, day out, night and day, I'm a trader, okay? So I have to have filters so that I'm not overwhelmed by looking at so many charts. My filter is my scanner. Let's say I'm only going to trade the USD JPY from 8 to 10 p.m. Do you need all this? No. Just use Nadex. Does everybody understand the concepts? And this is something you need to ask yourself. You know, where am I going? You know, is Nadex enough for me at this moment? Because, and here's an important aspect of it, guys. If you're just trading the USD JPY, sometimes it ain't going to move. It will not move sometimes. What are you going to do? Are you going to take a trade because you got bored? Because it's going to cost you some money if you do. And let's say that you did take a trade just because you got bored and you lost $50, you know, Well, that would have paid for your data feed for NinjaTrader. And again, NinjaTrader is free. You would just have to buy the data for it, which is, again, minimal cost. Any other questions? And again, if y'all have any questions about the differences in the platforms, not necessarily the cost, because I don't know the cost of all the platforms out there. But if you do have a question about the platforms, just send me an email and I'll be happy to answer you. Okay? Now, if y'all don't have any other questions, I do hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope I answered some of your questions and why I would use a platform. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week.